Yo, it's Trent. Hope everyone's having a good day. Make sure you sub, share, like, comment, check out my other stories. And we got my worst days as a fiend. This one will be amusing, and embarrassing. So to start off with, right, most of these stories are from like years ago, because most of you know, like now I just smoke. That's all I do, right? Nicotine too, but like nothing bad, nothing hard, nothing that's gonna, kill me overnight or surprisingly. You get what I'm saying? But a while ago, I did not care. So, we're going to be talking about the moments that I was just fiending, that I needed things. And a couple of these stories are like when I was like rock bottom, I didn't have anything. No money, no weed, no substances. Like I had nothing and I had to make it work. So, let's get started. First, we're going to go a little mellow, right? With the Mary Jane. So, for people that smoke every day like myself and that have smoked for a long time, you know that people say, hey, you can't get addicted to weed, which is, you can go both ways on it, but I'm kind of like, that's BS, right? Because if you smoke every day, you get dependent on that, okay? Maybe not too physically, where like if you don't have it, you're not going to throw up and be like shaking like it's a hard drug. But you will be like annoyed. You'll be pissed off or sad or annoyed, right? That's the mental side of it. But then it's hard to sleep. Like you try to go to sleep, but you're used to smoking, so you roll around all night. And then you're trying to eat. Like think about if you smoke all the time before you eat, then you go to eat, you're not going to have an appetite, because you're used to trying to get the munchies, or at least a mental munchies, you're used to it. So when you don't have it, it messes with you, right? And if that leads to like multiple days, then you're usually fine. After like day 2, day 3, you can get back into rhythm of being sober, right? But when you don't have it, it's like, man, I need it, right? So that happened to me a few times. Here's what I ended up doing. I can't believe I remember this still, but when I was like 13 or 14, right? My first bowl I ever had, it was this ginormous purple one, right? And my cousin got it for me. It was like my favorite bowl ever, right? I packed it full, completely full, last bowl I could find. Like it was scraps, like I'm dumping out the bags. I'm reaching in the like cabinet trying to pull out little pieces that fell out of bags, right? And I finally put together a scrap bowl, right? And then what happens? I knocked it over on accident. Like I didn't mean to. It was sitting on my dresser. I knocked it over, and I have white carpet, right? Well, like dirty white carpet. You get what I'm saying? So it falls in the carpet. You're not going to find it, right? And that was my last bowl. So at the time, I was heartbroken, right? And I remember I stole some alcohol. That's what I ended up doing from my family, not like from a store. I didn't actually steal it, but obviously I was younger. I wasn't supposed to have it. There was a bottle of vodka. I just poured myself some, and that was my day, right? Well, the next day, I need something to smoke. And what do? I start searching the rug, like the carpet, that's what it's called. I started searching the carpet, so I put on my flashlight, right? And I'm laying sideways with my cheek against the carpet, laying underneath my dresser almost. Like my head's like tilted so I can fit it under the dresser, right? And I had my flashlight on looking for the green. And I kept picking out little pieces of green, but you'd pick it out, right? And there'd be like pieces of food. There would be like pieces of carpet hair and regular, like we have dogs, right? So there's dog hair, human hair, there's pieces coming off of the carpet, right? I'm just trying to try to put this bowl back together, right? Like all I wanted to do was smoke. And I scrap it up, and I barely had any, right? So then I start looking in my old like Swisher things, right? Because I always empty out the Swisher like nicotine or the tobacco, the guts, right, into the bag. So then there's like little tiny pieces in that. I'm pouring it out. So I have like half tobacco, a little bit of scrap weed, and just like hairs and stuff, right? Ended up smoking that. So that's pretty nasty. That's desperate. That's being a fiend, right? Then we can go even, we can go up the next level. When I took Xanax a lot, right? I couldn't get it, and that was a problem for me, right? But the kid's house that I was staying at, I mean, I don't think I was staying there that exact day, but if you know, you know. I've talked about it, like, I don't know, probably 10 stories at least about how I stayed at this kid's house when I got kicked out, and I was doing coke and Xans at the time, right? And I ran out and I didn't have money, right? And the kid was cool with me taking some, but I had done it a lot recently. So it was kind of like known to just chill a little bit. So I didn't want to take his, right? Now, I'm not going to call this a trap house because there are worse houses out there. You get what I'm saying? But it definitely was disgusting and drug-filled, okay? Like, the whole house was just, every room you go in, there's going to be some sort of drug that's not weed. Like, it's hard, you know? And it was nasty inside. Like, no one cleaned. So I guess that is pretty much the trap house. But I want you to know that it could have been worse, okay? I'm sure it could have been worse. Like, the walls were still up. They weren't deteriorating. There weren't rats and stuff, okay? So I'm in there, and I'm searching for a Xanax bar or anything, right? And I knew what they looked like, so it's not like I wasn't gonna, grab, like, something that I wasn't supposed to. So I'm searching, and I remember lifting up my friend's dirty, nasty-ass couch, and the floor is already disgusting, because no one cleans, right? But underneath the couch is even worse, and what is there down there? There's half a bar that's, like, black, basically. Like, you could tell it was made white, like it was supposed to be white, and I'm sure it was pressed because it was like chalk next to it. But dude, let me tell you, there was like one percentage of white on there. Like, there was dirt, there was lint. I don't know where lint comes from, okay, but it was all over, and the amount of, like, goop that was underneath this couch, like, there was just some brown liquid underneath the couch that had stuck to the floor. I'm guessing it was Coke or maybe whiskey, but I'd probably be able to smell it, so I'm guessing it was some pop, like Dr. Pepper, Coke, something, right? And I just pulled that thing out of there, and it had some of it on it, and I took it anyways, right? That's disgusting. Another desperate time, absolute fiend moment, right, is when I was at my grandma and grandpa's house, and everybody left me home alone, right? And 2 nights before that, I had drinking NyQuil. And this isn't even my story for being desperate, but I did drink NyQuil many times to get high, right? Just to, if you drink too much of it, you get, like, you can see shadow people. I never did, but I had a few friends that did. And you kind of just get really warpy, and time doesn't feel real, and you have some fucked up dreams, and it's kind of scary, it's not real fun. But the day after I did that, right, I ended up huffing, like, cleaner, like, spray, like, just fucking, like, car spray, and, like, Windex and stuff. Like, I just used that, because I remember someone said you could huff gas, things like that, right, and I didn't have gasoline, but I had a bunch of cleaning spray, and I remember I sprayed it all into a rag or a sock. I think it was a sock, and I just, right, and it ended up working. My eyes got all weird and twitchy, and I saw a bunch of lights that I shouldn't have, and it got me high, right? But that was completely dumb, stupidest thing I ever did. I even told a story about it, but that is definitely being a fiend. And lastly, since it's not really, too bad, we'll just throw in nicotine stories, right? There was times that I've asked a lot of random people for cigarettes. That's not too bad. You can bum a cigarette off someone, but to pick up cigarettes off the ground that are half smoked, 3/4, that's a little worse, right? Especially after COVID, like me and my friend, we were searching around, grabbing them. I remember we went to the train station, they have all the ashtrays there, and we lifted them up and grabbed cigarettes out of there, smoked them. Absolutely disgusting, right? But now that I'm thinking about it, I do have one more, like, fiend story, right? And that was smoking alcohol. I posted that story too, but just like LA Beast, right? I remember we were like 13, 14. We watched that LA Beast video of him smoking alcohol. We were like, bro, we can do this, right? And in the video, he's like, do not try this at home. Do not try this at home. We're like, oh, we're trying this at home, right? And we pumped up the thing. We did all the steps that he did, basically, but I think we accidentally threw in an extra step we didn't need to by, like, trying to make, like, a puncture hole for A. It was so stupid, right? But we ended up using a bike pump and pumping the 1 liter, it was a 1 liter or 2 liter, no, it was a 2 liter, and then pouring whiskey in there and smoking it. Like, it was so weird, but it did work. So, I mean, that's one thing about being a fiend. The world looks at you and it's bad, right? You look bad, you look kind of like grimy, like a little rat, you're like, ooh, he'll do whatever for drugs, it's bad, right? But I will say most of those stories were effective, even though they were not good. Like, people look down at you for those things, but you got to admit, like, some of those were pretty smart. Smoking alcohol is wild, right? And it's not too wild because I'm sure a lot of people have done it, just wouldn't admit to it, but searching the ground for the tiniest bit of bud to pack a bowl, that's definitely some fiendish activities. But all right, Thank you guys for watching. Check out my other stories, and make sure you sub, share, like, and comment. Be safe, and peace out.